Hi guys, so James O'Brien in this monologue talks about Brexit and Cornish pasties. Yes, he went there.
Now all heading over the cliff because no one who voted for Brexit realised that they were going to be hit with £7 billion worth of red tape simply to trade on the level that they trade now. But this cheese producer was fascinating because he was obviously unhappy about the rigmarole and red tape that he now has to not only observe but also pay for. There are going to be problems regarding vets. Did you know this? You can't export cheese without a certificate from a vet. So now you're going to need a certificate from a vet for every consignment of cheese that you're sending to continental Europe. And, of course, cheese, I do like that word. I've never realised before. I mean, I love cheese, but I also like the word. Is there a German word for not only liking the thing, but actually liking the word that describes the thing? There should be. But if the vet's busy, if the vet's got his arm up a cow's backside and he can't get over to your place to certify your cheese consignment, cheese has quite a short shelf life. Well, some cheese does. Some cheese improves with age. But these are not good things. These are bad things. And what this cheese producer pointed out was that while he can get his head around the red tape, cross his fingers about having a vet available to take 60 quid off him every time he needs a certificate to send cheese to customers that he didn't need a certificate to send cheese to last week, he's got no control or influence whatsoever over his customers. So his customers now have some red tape that they have to fill in, which they didn't currently have to do. So why would a buyer of English cheese in Italy or Spain or France, why wouldn't they just go up the road and get something different or get it from a country that... And I know there are some cheese, and also, it just gets worse every layer. It's like a Russian doll of rubbishness, Brexit, isn't it? Every time you open one, there's another load of rubbish. And take the lid off that one. Oh, look, there's another load of rubbish. Because I don't think we get our DOP protections anymore either. So I need to look into this. It's been on my list for about 3.5 years, but I'm sometimes quite slow to get around to things. I think the protections for things like Parmigiano, Parmesan cheese, or Stilton cheese, I think they're EU based, aren't they? DOPs, aren't they? I don't know. I'm asking you now. I'm thinking out loud. So, is there anything to stop if getting fantastic farmhouse cheddar from a farm in Yorkshire is too much of a faff for a French fromagerie? Are they allowed to knock up their own stuff now and call it cheddar or Stilton? Or Cornish pasties. Even Greggs had to revert to a steak bake rather than a Cornish pasty, I think, because there are protections in place on what can and can't be described as a Cornish pasty. But I think those protections are to do with European Union law. So we're out of that now as well. Well done.
Okay, your cheese and your Cornish pasties may not be protected after Brexit. You may start to see Roman Stilton and parish pasties appearing on their respective shelves. And while this is a serious issue for producers of those, I think the real story is at the beginning of James's monologue. So, the British government is planning to build up to 12 new Brexit border customs and control sites across the country. Now, Michael Gove has said that this is part of the mission to quote-unquote bring back control from the EU. Gove also went on to say that there is £470 million earmarked for a programme for facilities to process freight going back and forth from the EU. This will include a 206-page document detailing new border controls. So much for reducing red tape and saving money that could have been spent on, for example, the NHS. Now, these new customs declarations will amount to about 400 million. Yes, 400 million. So the government are writing to about 12,000 businesses that deal with import-export trade at the moment to instruct them of their responsibility. Now, there isn't even an up-and-running IT system for this. Anyone who has worked in IT knows that systems need to be tested and tested and tested before they're rolled out. The system alone will be expensive and problematic, especially if it isn't given enough time. And we must remember that the end of the transition period is about 5 months away. Now let's say that everything works perfectly on the day. Well, actually, the government isn't even planning for that. So that's why they are not implementing it for another 6 months. Liz Truss, the international secretary, complained about this because even she realizes that this will encourage smuggling. So a system that may not work, borders that will not check all goods for 6 months, a risk of smuggling and a loss of income for the Treasury, companies having to pay, hire and waste time on paperwork that was supposed to disappear under Brexit, and finally a risk to some British products being copied abroad because they will not be protected in Europe, are just some of the minor issues related to Brexit that will hit the UK on the 1st of January. Now there's some noise coming from Brexiteers in the cabinet, which instead of helping Boris Johnson to have a smooth exit to the transition period, are instead pushing him to ignore aspects of the withdrawal agreement that he signed and his government pushed through Parliament. What a freaking mess. Let me know in the comments, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot. Why not become a Patreon and enjoy access to our Discord server where we share news, chat, and have some fun? If you become a patron, you can also make video suggestions on topics that are important to you. Check it out via the link in the description.